viewers on their website. They're doing a lot of on-ground coverage of this election, and you can download the Beatroot News app for news and updates. We're having a very interesting conversation even before we started the show. Lots of interesting things have happened. There is the whole Sam Petroda issue. Sam Petroda made a statement, and today we understand, as we are going live right now, he has resigned from his official position at the Congress party of his own accord, we're told, and the Congress president has accepted his resignation. We're going to come back to that. But today we're also going to talk about the Election Commission and its action, if any, against what seems to be breaking of the Model Code of Conduct and what that means for a free and fair election. We'll also talk about the state of Haryana, where 3 independent MLAs have pulled power, and the BJP finds itself ever so slightly in a minority. What's likely to happen in that state? And we'll take a look at the fortunes in Odisha and in West Bengal in this story. But first, let me introduce my guest. Aditya Menon is a political editor at the Quint, who joins me week on week as we talk about this election. And of course, Mr. Sharat Pradhan is a very senior journalist, been kind enough to give us his time this evening. Mr. Pradhan, always a pleasure to sit down with you. I mean, my team and I wrote on the screen that the Election Commission is acting slowly. Mr. Pradhan, do you agree that the Election Commission is acting slowly?
Acting? I wonder when would they start acting? Because I think that this is model code of conduct prescribed by the Election Commission. There should be another code of conduct for the election commissioners, because they need an election, they need a model code of conduct themselves, because their entire demeanor, their entire inaction speaks volumes of the way they are functioning. They are miles away from objectivity. They are heavily biased for the ruling dispensation, which is it appears to be a matter of shame for any election commission. And what I never imagined, even before Session, there used to be a lot of criticism of the kind of people who were made election commissioners. But post Session, there has been no such commissioner who has drawn so much criticism, and very rightly so, largely because of their inaction on serious violations made by top leaders of the ruling dispensation, including the Prime Minister. And it clearly shows their helplessness to do anything. And it is helplessness, or it is because they want to be more loyal than the king? That's the big question. So I think the Election Commission really needs to, so far whatever they have done is very evident that they are a most undeserving lot of officers who are there, and the manner in which they have been selected is also highly questionable. You see, and this also brings me to one question which still remains unanswered. The one election commissioner who had quit, nobody knows why he quit, but there are rumors that he had serious objections against the possible manipulation of electronic voting machines, and to which the chief election commissioner was completely averse. He was of the view that he was probably of the view that there needed to be VVPATs on all machines, and the counting of the VVPAT slips would have been a very transparent system. And even a number of retired CECs who have been upheld as upright top election officer commissioners, were also of the view that the only way, nobody wants to go back to the ballot paper days, but certainly there could have been a more transparent system. It would have been more useful, more meaningful, more objective if they had agreed on counting the VVPAT slips. And there was nothing wrong in that. They wouldn't have, maybe it would have taken a day more in the final counting. That's about all. But the fact that they did not do it, and the most interesting part was when the chief election commissioner held this press conference about a month or so back, more than a month back, and when this question was asked, his flat answer, he made a big joke about it. He said, "Oh, this has been dismissed by everyone, nobody there's nothing wrong with the machines, and they cannot be hacked. There's a difference between hacking of the machines and manipulation of the machines. So, but that's how it is. It clearly shows. So I feel that there's much to be desired from the election commission.
But I want to take this question to Aditya. Aditya, there was a very worrying, sort of reel that got put up on social media. I personally saw it on Instagram, but I understand that it's all over the place. It was an animation of Rahul Gandhi and Siddharamaya. I'm sure you saw it as well. By the time the election commission got around to asking Twitter to take it down, the state of Karnataka had already voted. Is there provision for the election commission to act faster?
I mean, the election commission should have acted faster. There is no provision. Unfortunately, there is no way to hold them to account for these actions. But even that action was they asked Twitter to take it down. What about other platforms? Even if you forget other platforms, why was there no action taken against the party that was putting out such content? Why is it the responsibility of Twitter to take it down? I mean, obviously, if a party is violating the people of representation of people act, if they are spreading enmity, then it should be the party which should be penalized, not Twitter taking it down. That too, after polling is already almost done in the state, absolutely made no sense. So, I'm completely in agreement with what Mr. Pradhan is saying. In this election, the election commission has, unfortunately, I haven't seen so many memes and cartoons about any other election commissioner as we have seen about this chief election commissioner and the election commissioners. So any institution, if it's becoming a joke, it's extremely worrying for the state of our democracy.
In fact, it's not just this. There have been a series of infractions, right? Just to remind our audience, the model code, Aditya, it's not a law. It's not enforceable legally. It's a code that all politicians are expected to follow. But would you say that this one video is it's just one problem? There've been a series of problems so far in this particular election.
Absolutely. We have this video, we have speeches by the Prime Minister saying that, Congress wants to take your wealth and take your Mangal Sutra, give it to Muslims. Absolute falsehood, a complete falsehood. And all of it is going unchecked. There was one notice that was sent to JP Nadda. Now, I don't know why a notice is being sent to JP Nadda for something the Prime Minister has said. Now, when election commission at least should make a pretense of acting in an impartial manner. They are not even doing that, unfortunately. And one day after the other, there are like more hate speeches are being made. PM is talking about vote jihad, and there is zero action by the election commission.
Also, interestingly, like you said, they've asked Twitter to take it down, but there's no word on Meta, which means Facebook, Instagram, WhatsApp, which is really the larger channels of distribution of a video of that kind. We've not heard anything. So there's no evidence that either Meta has or has not been asked to take this down. Aditya?
Yeah, no, we only saw the notice being issued to Twitter and not on Meta, and nothing against the party that has put it out. And even the Twitter action was belated, as we discussed. So I mean, I don't know where what the election commission is doing it, and then this particular video that you were referring to is absolutely blatant. I mean, it couldn't have could have been more perverse than that. Yeah.
In fact, for our audience, just to tell you, in the model code, there's one rule that says that no party or individual will make any speech or create any communication that will cause enmity between groups of people. It also says that no party will make any speech or create any communication that is based on falsehood about a competitor. Both of these rules are being broken at this point, and the election commission doesn't seem to be deliberating or doesn't seem to be taking any of this into account. Mr. Pradhan, the other question that comes up, and this is in the model code of conduct, that you cannot use religion to solicit votes. You can't ask people to vote for you because you are of a particular religion and they are of a particular religion, or the opponent is of a particular religion. You cannot use places of worship, no churches, no mosques, no temples. The Ram Mandir is being referred to repeatedly. Can this be viewed as part of our manifesto? We have achieved this work, so it's okay for us to talk about it.
Well, the whatever Modi does is acceptable by the election commission. right or wrong, constitutional, unconstitutional. The whole trouble is that there is nobody. There is it has election commission has lost its completely lost its sanctity, because whatever has been done by Mr. Modi through his damage, the violation, it is the limit of seeking votes in the name of religion or condemning others in the name of religion. You are not supposed to even take any religion, any name of any religion. But here is the way he's gone, and all complete falsehood. He went to the extent of attributing all whatever he wanted to say. He attributed it to the Congress manifesto, and there was nothing of that sort, even remotely not there, not even a suggestion of that kind in the Congress manifesto. But he claimed Congress manifesto is going now has this, that they will give away the property of Hindus to Muslims. And Yogi Adityanath, you will find, you will, if you've noticed, he wants to prove himself a more staunch Hindu, bigger Hindutva icon than the Prime Minister. So the very next day he says the Congress manifesto has that they will bring in Shariat law. Now, where on earth was this in the Congress manifesto? He did that. Then 2 days later, after Mr. Modi talked about Mangal Sutra, he said Congress manifesto says that they are going to give license to Muslims to eat beef and cow and indulge in cow slaughter. Again, there's nothing of that. It's lies. Lies is also something which the Election Commission needs to take notice of. See, it is a serious matter. You are trying to forge communal divide. I mean, apart from the fact that the Prime Minister is not expected to be talking in divisive terms, they all are getting away with it because they want to. I would say, as a matter of fact, it seemed sometimes that it was not the Prime Minister of India talking; it is the Prime Minister of Taliban or Pakistan talking like that. Because there you can expect people to be talking in such terms, but it is the whole world has seen this. And they try to give the impression that what they say is the gospel truth. For 90% of the people, nobody looks into the manifesto. They all start believing. And that is the advantage. And it is lapped up by mainstream media, which is also equally responsible. But
I do want to ask you about this as journalists with considerable experience between the two of you. We've seen this happen as recently as this morning, where there is a false statement made, and that false statement is then reported in media without a fact check.
Yeah.
And it language is really important, right, when we work as journalists. So it will say something as Prime Minister's scathing attack. But the actual attack itself is not based on fact. How should that ideally be handled by the desk or by a journalist who's writing that headline?
It is not. Sorry, you're asking me?
Yes, go ahead.
Well, I don't see, here it is not as if a reporter is doing something and the desk needs to check it or the editor needs to clip it. The whole channel is involved in it, right from the owners of the channel down to the editors. They are all a part of the game of this, I would say, a conspiracy. It is not an ordinary simple thing. This is something which one had never visualized. Because if when you start becoming his master's voice, then there are no holds barred. If the Prime Minister says one thing, you lap it up and add 4 more things to it, add more masala to it, so that you can help the Prime Minister in achieving his goal. And goal is to twist facts, to utter lies, so that he can achieve his ultimate goal of becoming Prime Minister for the 3rd time, whether it is on falsehood, whether it is on a communal divide, whether it is on completely misleading information. There it goes. And that is a matter. Now, I fail to understand who is going to put a check on this. It is only people like you and me and Aditya on the alternate media that we are doing it. But certainly the reach of the mainstream media is far higher. So that is why they succeed, and nothing succeeds like success. And
Okay, so
Modi,
let me take the same question. Yes, yes. Let me take the same question to Aditya. Aditya, how should journalists be handling this situation? We have another question that's popped in on our chat window, which is: can citizens hold the election commission accountable in any way? Is there anything that citizens can do?
Actually, I want to take the election commission, the citizens' role, and see the entire system of a normal citizen putting out a complaint to the election commission is completely opaque. They have a platform on their website. They have an app. Some of our reporters, they tried to make complaint to that. It's totally opaque. We had social media people putting out entire screenshots of how that entire link of filing a complaint led nowhere. So the citizens can't do it. As far as opposition parties are concerned, I'll just give you one statistic. Our reporter Himanshi Daya, she approached all the national parties other than the BJP and asked them how many complaints they have filed in the last 5 years against the Prime Minister. It turns out they have filed 27 complaints between the Congress, the Communist Party, and other national parties. Not one of the 27 complaints was acted upon by the Election Commission. Not one. So the Election Commission clearly does not want to act against the Prime Minister. The only one notice they have sent to the PM was this notice they sent to Nadda, not to the PM at all. So, I mean, it cannot get more blatant than this.
Because they're also showing on the record, right, that no notice has been sent individually to the Prime Minister. Otherwise, it goes into the record. We can actually take a look at how many notices the Election Commission
At
has
least
sent.
send a notice. Even if you don't want to take action, send a notice at least. At least go through with the inquiry. 27 complaints by national parties are going completely unanswered. I mean, and yeah, as far as the media is concerned, I mean, again, I was seeing that there was a Bangalore-based reporter of a national channel. That reporter put out that entire animated graphic after it was banned by the election. After ECI asked Twitter to take it down, this reporter put it out saying, "Oh, this is the animation that Twitter has asked that the ECI has asked Twitter to take down." So just in case you missed it there, you can check it out here on my timeline. The TV media is also completely on one side, unfortunately.
Yeah, the TV media is definitely on.
Yeah, sold.
I mean, there was one television interview I was watching of the Prime Minister where the journalist was actually saying that, oh, but everybody wants to stop you from creating a great country, and everybody wants to stop you from building a wonderful economy. Why is that? I mean, as a journalist, that question itself made my head spin a little bit. But we have, we have someone called Ragsy Boy who showed up on our timeline and is asking questions. And let's see if we can answer the questions. And at one point, he said, all is fair in elections. I just want to point out, Ragsy Boy, elections need to be free and fair. And only if the election is free and fair do we have any semblance of a democracy. So it's not war. So you can't say all is fair in elections. That is not how that works at all. Because if this is being allowed, then we don't have free and fair elections. And you should remember, today it's one party. Tomorrow could be a different party that's taking advantage of the election commission. And you don't know if that's a future that you want. Manish Shivani says, okay, so in the other questions that that I wanted to ask, the second one that we must talk about is Haryana. Now, in the state of Haryana, we've had 3 independent MLAs who have pulled power away from the BJP. This is perhaps the first time we're seeing it happen. Operation Lotus in reverse. Aditya, first of all, from your reporters, what is likely to be the impact on the state government in Haryana? And we know that Haryana has 10 seats that it sends to Lok Sabha. Is that changing in any way also?
So I think the first crisis is a more constitutional crisis because Haryana has seen a no confidence motion less than 6 months ago. So BJP is saying that you cannot bring another no confidence motion now, but the opposition is saying that this is a new government since the CM was changed, so we can bring it against the CM. There is another interpretation which says that the Congress, since it brought the previous no confidence motion, it can't bring another one. but an independent MLA or the Jannayak Janata Party, which has now strangely expressed support for the Congress, they can also bring a no confidence motion. So there is this technicality. The second thing is elections in Haryana are due in October this year. So whether these parties want to really come to power through a ragtag coalition rather than let BJP self-destruct in the way it is probably doing in the state, that's the more political choice that the opposition parties in Haryana have. I think the bigger picture here is that clearly the sentiment is in favor of the opposition in Haryana, and probably the independent MLAs seem to have realized that. Otherwise, there was no reason for them to quit ahead of the Lok Sabha elections. They could easily have waited till the eve of the Vidhan Sabha elections. So I think that it clearly shows that probably Haryana is a bellwether state. Since the last 2.5 decades, Haryana has voted the way the national mood has gone. So if Haryana is sort of going against the BJP, that means nationally things may not be all that okay for them as anticipated.
Mr. Pradhan, what do you think has changed in Haryana? Because Haryana was always a strong sort of hold for the BJP, right?
Well, I think there are a couple of reasons behind that. One is that I feel that people have got generally sick of the way things have been going on. The more particularly, their anger, because Haryana is a Jat-dominated state, and the manner in which our women wrestlers were treated, they all belong to the Jat community, and the way they were treated, the Wrestling Federation of India chief, who happened to be a BJP, a darling of the top leadership, BJP member of parliament, and for against whom even the prime minister refused to utter a word, even after these poor women, I'm saying poor women, they have been very daring women, but I'm saying because the government refused to pay any cognizance to the kind of wails and appeals that they made, but there was nobody to listen to them. They staged demonstrations. They, for months, they were in the what all that had happened was that they were beaten black and blue, pulled by the police, the Delhi police. Now, this has gone very deep in the minds of the Haryana people. And there is a divide. Yes, there is one section of the Jats which is all for BJP, irrespective of anything. But I think the larger chunk of the Jats have certainly risen up in arms. The other factor which has continuously angered them is the government's indifference and rebuke to the farmers' demands. Now, Haryana is also a farming community, Haryana, Punjab, and there the manner in which the government has dealt with the farmers, their demands, the way they've been assaulted by the police, obviously under the directions of the top people. All this is not going to. It was not taken well by the Haryana population, and a large chunk of them, I think they will give. And Jats are very hot-headed. It's a very hot-headed community, and they believe in. I think largely they are known to be believing in vengeance. So now with they are going to strike back. That they have had enough. They have been at the receiving end, whether it is these poor girls, whether it is the poor farmers. That is the reason why today BJP is on a very, very sticky wicket in Haryana. They had won all the 10 seats in 2019. But this time, it is going to be a tough call for BJP to even retain half the number of seats. Maybe they end up keeping one or two seats. They are going to lose badly in Haryana. It's pretty evident.
But Aditya, of all the conversations we've been having so far, we've talked about how the South has been holding out, against the BJP, and they're not likely to win a lot of seats there. But for the Hindi-speaking North, it seemed like a stronghold. Is this the first crack we're seeing in that struggle? Because this was not on the charts up till now. The fact that a state like Haryana might go a different way.
I think it is probably the first crack because Haryana, even last time, the voters, even Jat voters, they sort of gave a split vote. In the center, they voted for BJP, but in the Haryana Assembly election, barely a few months later, they decisively voted against the BJP and for the Congress on one hand and Dushyant Chautala's party on the other. But I think this BJP strategy of sort of pitting all the non-Jat communities against Jats, जो 35 बिरादरी को एक तरफ करके एक बिरादरी को दूसरी तरफ, that has backfired. I think the Jats are a dominant community with over 20% share of the population. You cannot push them to a corner so much, and Jats have had waves of protests against the government. We had the Jat reservation protest, then we had the farmers protest, then we had the wrestlers protest. Any community which goes through three mass protests you cannot expect that community to come back and vote for the party they had been protesting against. So I think it's really, जो कहते हैं पानी सर से ऊपर जा चुका है for Jats. I think it's really gone a little too much, this entire politics of alienating one community. And when you change the chief minister, you replaced Khattar, a Punjabi, with a Saini chief minister, who's again from an OBC caste. So again, Jats were overlooked in the replacement of CM. So it probably has become a bit too much. And the Congress, then the JJP also has fallen out of favor with the community because of the way they behaved during the farmers' protest. So I think Jats have realized that at least in the national election, Congress led by Huddas is their main option. And the Congress on its part has also been very careful. They have almost given Huddas a blank check as far as deciding tickets are concerned. A known Hudda rival like Kiran Chaudhary was sidelined for the Bhiwani Mahendragarh seat. They gave it to a Hudda loyalist, Rao Dan Singh. So, except for Shailaja, the entire anti-Hudda camp, be it Kiran Chaudhary, be it Randeep Surjewala, have been sidelined. So, Congress also knows that Huddas are their main option in the state. This is something that the Jat community has also respected. And there seems to be a clear shift towards the Congress in that state. I think you're on mute.
The other question I want to bring up with both of you before we run out of time is the whole Sam Pitroda, controversy. Regularly making statements that has embarrassed the party he works with. Sam Pitroda is the chairperson of the Overseas Congress and is known to be a advisor of the Gandhi family closely. He recently made a statement about how it's important to bring, I think he meant to say it is important to bring unity in the country, but he went on to say that people from different parts of the country look different in a very racist, very offensive way. And quite rightly, it got picked up and clobbered in the media and, in the BJP speeches. He has now resigned this evening. And a lot of people are saying, why would anybody take Sam Pitroda seriously? It's because the Gandhi family has kept him close for this long. Aditya, what's your reaction to this entire story?
I mean, Sam Pitroda it's once or twice one can still call it a faux pas. It's just happening a little too frequently. I remember even on around the Punjab election, it was, or I don't recall, when he said about the 1984 pogrom that hua so hua. I mean, it's a total embarrassment. And even in this election, the things that he has been saying, it's way it was long overdue that he had to be silent. Problem with the Congress and Gandhi family in particular is that they value loyalty over any kind of merit. So I think Mr. Pitroda was a product of that culture.
Mr. Pradhan? Now you're on mute, sir.
I fully agree with what Aditya had to say on Sam Pitroda. I remember interviewing Sam Pitroda ages ago during Rajiv Gandhi's time. And that time, of course, he seemed a completely different man. And a lot of good things he did in communication in India. But I think it's as Hindustani में कहते हैं कि आदमी सटिया जाता है. So I think that could be the only reason. One, senility is something which nobody can contain. And because otherwise there's no reason putting his foot into the mouth every time he speaks. Why should you be indulging
Yeah.
in it? And I think it was far beyond, and he caused so much embarrassment to the Congress party by making that inheritance laws wala statement.
Mm.
So it was time that he was shown the door earlier. I'm sure nobody resigns in this country. Nobody resigns on his own accord. It's very rare, but it's
Yeah.
always made. People are made to believe that they are resigning on their own accord. But I wish this was done earlier. He was made to resign on his own accord sometime earlier, so that that could have saved the Congress so much embarrassment and absolutely unnecessary. The only my only worry is that these days when people leave the Congress or they are thrown out of the Congress, they go and cross over to the BJP. I don't see him of any utility to the BJP either now. So I think
I mean, we're hearing, there was a very interesting column written by Komi Kapoor in the Indian Express, where she said that the base support, cadre of the BJP is upset because they're having to campaign for people who have switched sides. They're going to be very upset if Sam Petroda winds up on the other side of that aisle. Um, but Aditya, is that something that you are picking up from the ground as well when you're out reporting, that the BJP cadre seems to be upset about the parachuters who have come in from the other side overnight and have been given tickets?
Some places, yes. I think Maharashtra definitely. I think Ajit Pawar was the last straw for the BJP loyalists. Anyone else they would have still been okay with. But Ajit Pawar, it was a hate figure for many BJP loyalists in Maharashtra. He was sort of the epitome of what alleged corruption, of
Yeah.
entitlement, of arrogance, of so many things that the BJP, of that many people hated. So Ajit Pawar coming was a big embarrassment for them. Other than that, I think many places people are reconciled to it. In Punjab, of course, many old-time BJP people are saying we are again taking the old Congresses and old Kalis in our mix. But then they also say that this is the price we have to pay for trying to expand. So it differs from different in different states. I think states where BJP is keen to expand, they cadres are making that concession. But yeah, in places like Maharashtra, probably is a bit too much.
The last question that I want to ask you all both before we, close this conversation is about Odisha. Now, BJP, Naveen Patnaik, there was an alliance, there was no alliance, there was a slight grey area over there, but the Prime Minister has thrown an open challenge now to Naveen Patnaik, and he said that the BJP government will expire on the 4th of June. What are your sources telling you about the way that Odisha might go in terms of pulse on the ground? Mr. Pradhan, you first.
I think Naveen Patnaik has probably not been. He ceases to enjoy that kind of confidence of Prime Minister Modi for whatever reason. I am told that Mr. Modi wanted they were in alliance, okay, but Mr. Modi wanted to poke his nose longer than Mr. Patnaik would permit, and that's the reason that they decided to kind of part ways. And now Mr. Modi wants to teach him a lesson. And earlier it was felt that probably it was some kind of a state managed game, but no. The reports coming in from Orissa say that yes, they are cross with each other, and Mr. Modi wants to his because but Naveen Patnaik became cautious because Mr. Modi's game was to completely finish Patnaik and his politics in Orissa, and BJP wanted to literally stage some kind of a coup in Orissa, which is why these are there was some conspiracy going on, which is why Naveen Patnaik decided to do what he is doing now and fight back. And Naveen Patnaik has tremendous hold on the people of Orissa, and BJP very systematically tried to demolish him, spread all kinds of things about him in among the people of Orissa. And it was BJP which was busy going on saying that, look here, he's an anglicized man, he can't even speak Odia, and which is not true. Again, which is not true. So ultimately, I think realization has dawned, and BJP, but because it is Naveen Patnaik realized it a little late in the day, it seems that BJP will manage to have its way a bit deeper, in the sense that they are likely to make inroads, more inroads into in Orissa. Unlike most other states, particularly the Hindi heartland you mentioned, where BJP has absolutely, I don't see any scope for them to increase their numbers, which includes Uttar Pradesh, Chhattisgarh, Rajasthan. I wouldn't say about Madhya Pradesh; they have no scope to go further because they had rested only one seat to the opposition. So there too, they are likely to come down. And likewise in Uttarakhand, where they had, I'm stretching it beyond your question, Faye, and even in Uttarakhand, where they had all four seats, this time they are definitely losing at least one seat, or maybe they lose the second one as well. One is Garhwal, where the BJP nominee, who is a central minister, Baluni, is having a tough time fighting Godial, the Congress guy. So BJP, this is Orissa is one state where they are hoping to increase their numbers, but let's see how it goes. But yes, if Patnaik had realized what is churning in the BJP, probably this situation would not have arisen.
Aditya, your view on what's happening in Orissa?
I think another factor here is that Mr. Patnaik's health has not been up to the mark. So his public appearances aren't as frequent as they used to be. So that is the vacuum that BJP is sort of trying to take advantage of. Now, in terms of second in line, Mr. Patnaik has made it clear that VK Pandian, the bureaucrat turned politician who's originally from Tamil Nadu, he is sort of the second in command of the party. Now, being an outsider, even though he has worked a lot in the state, he's still an outsider. So, whether the people of Odisha would accept Mr. Pandian as the heir of Mr. Patnaik, we don't know. But this is Mr. Pandian's first election outside of being a bureaucrat. This is his first election as a politician. And so I think it's a huge test. The BJP knows that there is a power vacuum there. I think what Mr. Pradhan said is absolutely correct, that in this entire quest of trying to increase their tally, the only states where they could possibly do that are West Bengal and Odisha. And the deal that they probably wanted from Mr. Patnaik is that he gives them 2/3 of the seats to contest at the Lok Sabha level, while they give him a free hand at the Vidhan Sabha level, which is something probably he didn't want to concede. So I think that was one of the reasons why the deal fell through. Now it remains to be seen whether in this battle of wits between Mr. Pandian and the BJP, who manages to sort of get the numbers in Odisha.
Right. Interesting things, of course, will continue. As we know, the Kejriwal's interim bail hearing also will be in Supreme Court, perhaps tomorrow, perhaps early next week. That would be an interesting development as well. But it does seem that an election that we thought was an open and closed case is perhaps not as open and closed as it was when the entire campaigning started off. Gentlemen, thank you so much for spending time with us today and answering all of those questions. Aditya Menon, always a pleasure to chat with you. Mr. Pradhan, I look forward to chatting with you a lot more before we're done with this election at least. You have a really nice evening. To our audience, remember to like, share, and subscribe to our YouTube channel. And look at the Quint website for the work that they're doing on the ground, the stories that they're bringing you. And of course, you can take a look at the Quint YouTube page as well. Thank you so much for watching. Good night.
Thank you.